doing great. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
You as well.
Yep, absolutely. Same to you guys. Great to see you out here. First of all, before we get started, just wanted to say I'm thinking of John Whittle, as I know a lot of you guys are as well. I've texted with him back and forth the last few days, so getting the same updates you guys are as well, and look forward to seeing him back out here in action soon. So great first night in Charlotte. No issues last night. Got everybody here. Great practice out there today. Phenomenal facility here at Charlotte Christian. Appreciate them letting us be here. And again, excited to be here and a lot of work to get done. So, any questions?
Shane, obviously the kind of elephant in the room is COVID, kind of affecting things. How are you guys? Have you tested while you've been here? What's the plan going forward before the plan?
We will have our normal in-season testing protocol, just like we've done for all games, which means that we will be the guys that normally get tested, the unvaccinated players, will get tested 2 days before the game. So what is that, Tuesday? Tuesday, which in season, that's normally on Wednesday, 3 days before the game. We're doing it 2 days before the game. I believe North Carolina's following the same protocols. So we'll have a handful of guys. Most of our players are vaccinated. We've got a handful of guys that will get tested on 2 days before the game. But, we're following protocols here in Charlotte that their city has in place, and being as smart as we can around each other and in the hospital. Masked in meetings and masked indoors like the city of Charlotte requires us to be.
How much of an extra challenge is that just with how Omicron is sort of affecting the landscape of college football right now?
It's a challenge, but to me it's every single sport. I mean, we talked about it as a team this morning in our meeting. I mean, you can't watch an NFL game without seeing 20% of the team, I don't know, that's out with COVID. I mean, or a coach that has to miss a game because of COVID, or men's basketball games in college getting canceled, or women's games having issues, or no disrespect to the NBA, I haven't followed the NBA much, but from what I understand, there's a lot of teams that basically have lost their roster and they're just signing guys off the street. So it's everywhere. So any issues that we may have, we're not going to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves, because everybody in the country is dealing with it right now, and it's unfortunate, but we're trying to be as smart as we can and make sure that we got as full a group as possible to go compete against North Carolina on Thursday.
Outside of COVID, Shane, anybody not come back from the break that you're expecting for suspension, discipline, anything else?
We have one young man whose grandmother is about to pass away, John Darius Morgan. His grandmother is in some ill health right now, so he stayed home to be with her and thinking of him and their prayers. And we do have a few guys that were suspended and didn't make the trip. No one that was a starter for us, but had some issues in December back in Columbia that we're going to do things the right way in our program, and they didn't earn the right to come on this trip with us. So there's 3 guys that did not make the trip.
Just how meaningful would being able to kind of finish the drill, get a bowl win, sort of be for a program in year one with you and kind of for this older group?
Yeah, it would be huge. One, to be able to send these guys out the right way, these super seniors that I'm so appreciative for, would be awesome to send those guys out the right way. To get a 7th win, to do it here in Charlotte, to do it against a great opponent like North Carolina. I mean, we've talked to our players all month that, this is my, 18th bowl game as a coach, 23 if you count my time in college as a player. And the bowl games that I've been successful in are the bowls where the team is most excited to be at the bowl. And from what I've seen, our guys are really, really excited to be here. And why wouldn't you be with everything that is in front of us and everything that we've been through, and the fact that this university hasn't been to a bowl game since 2018. There's a lot to be excited about.
So when you get guys who come in, they've been with you all year and they've maybe gone pro or transferred, what have you, do you have to switch around your offensive, defensive plans that drastically, or is it just, hey, we've been doing this for 12 games and we're going to keep doing it?
No, I think you've been doing it. Now, there's certainly things that certain guys did on offense or defense. Obviously we're talking about Zaquandre and JJ that did defensively that, maybe do a little bit better than the other guys at their position, that you maybe don't do as much or don't feature as much. But I would say that everything Zaquandre did from a running back standpoint, our other guys do a great job of as well. Ace. Hey, buddy. What'd you think of practice? Pretty good? All right. Not very definitive. Kind of how I feel. Politically correct. There's certainly, and then defensively, you know, all of our guys at that position can do a lot of the same things. I think maybe the biggest thing is just, you know, some personnel packages. It limits your depth. I mean, we use multiple personnel packages on defense, and we do multiple things on offense. And if you're down some guys, that maybe limits the amount of packages you can run. But no, not a whole lot of changes from a schematic standpoint, no.
Shane, are you able to share which 3 guys didn't make the trip?
I'd rather not. I know you guys will be out here tomorrow checking off names at practice as far as who's out here and things like that. Am I right? So you guys will probably be able to deduct from that. But no, I mean, that's an in-house matter, and I'd rather just, you know, let y'all figure it out.
And I guess how much of a challenge is Sam Howell for this defense, especially with a guy like JJ out there?
A huge challenge. I knew what a great player he was, but I didn't realize what a talented just runner he is. I mean, I think he's 7th in the ACC in rushing right now, yards per game. And that's, I mean, you take the sacks out of it, because I think he's been sacked quite a few times, that if you take that out of it, and he's up there probably 1 or 2 in the conference probably in rushing, and it's not flukes. It's, I mean, he's breaking tackles and people are bouncing off of him. I mean, I got so much respect for him. He's such a tough competitor. He's a winner. He's a big challenge, running and throwing. He actually was on our campus a little bit in June. We went at one of our 7-on-7 camps. He had a friend that was participating in the 7-on-7 camp and came down and spent the afternoon in Columbia with us and had a chance to visit with him. And great young man, and I've got a ton of respect for him. You know, as a player, they do a great job with him, and he's a great player.
How much joy have you seen from Nick Buse going through kind of this last part of his career, especially considering he comes here, joins this program right as things kind of get funky, has to wait a little bit, gets injured, and now gets to kind of close out in his hometown?
Yeah, I'm excited for him. You know, came back and has put a lot into it and been a great leader for us, and the chance to come back here to this area and play his last game in North Carolina, I know was exciting for him, and I got a ton of respect for Nick, just the way he practices, and he's just steady and you know, comes to work every single day.
How are you guys feeling about the quarterback position with Jason gone? Obviously, you've now had some more practices with the guys you have left. What's kind of the situation, or how's that been working? It's adventurous right now. You know, with Jason gone, obviously Zeb's been back there. Colton, we have high hopes for. Jake Helfrich is a walk-on from here in Charlotte that, you know, is a good player that is obviously getting, you know, a lot of work as well. And you know, we got a lot of guys on our team that were high school quarterbacks. So we've particularly with COVID and challenges of that right now, I mean, you hate to, but you always got to think about worst case scenario. And, you know, you want to make sure you got enough quarterbacks to play the game. So I'm not going to say we've had open tryouts, but I mean, you've certainly, you've kind of got a break glass in case of emergency type thing as well. But we got high hopes for those guys. Zeb's a veteran, savvy guy that obviously has done a great job all year. And I'm excited about seeing him going out in his final chapter, you know, of his career and then this season at Carolina.
And I asked Zeb this question the other day, but I haven't asked you directly. Have you had conversations with him yet about his future, and would you want to see him back next season as a grad assistant?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've told him that depending on how he plays in this game will determine his role next year. So if he plays well at quarterback, he gets to work with the quarterbacks. If not, we're sending him to work with the offensive line next year. But no, I'd love to have him back. Zeb, just like I said, I mean, everything that you guys have seen from him, Zeb's a fantastic player, person, coach, and is a real asset, you know, to our program. And I don't want Zeb going anywhere.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I guess this is the first time we've gotten to talk to you since Tanner Bailey signed. How did that process work, and what do you think he can add to the quarterback room?
Yeah, Tanner's the one that when I first got here, we liked early on, and then we were just, obviously I got hired, and then our offensive staff got put together and compared to his relationship with Oregon at the time, because of Joe Moorhead, who was recruiting him at Mississippi State. He was a little bit farther along in that relationship with Oregon, and you know, quarterback recruiting is like dominoes. Once you see one commit, it's kind of like the ball gets rolling, the next guy, and Tanner went ahead and jumped on that offer at Oregon, and we certainly understood that. And I didn't have any conversations with him until literally, I think, the night we sent him scholarship papers, to be honest with you. Once everything happened at Oregon, he reached back out, and I was just looking at it from a from a depth standpoint, my job is to always to increase the depth and the competition at every single position, and being able to bring Spencer in, Luke and Colton coming back, Braden, and then now Tanner. Tanner's a great athlete, winner, good football player, great baseball player, multiple sport guy that we're excited about, and competition makes everyone better, and that's what I saw as an opportunity to do that as well. Particularly, not that we're worried about Luke next year, but Luke I think will be probably limited in spring practice, and then Colton's still young, and it is still scary in a lot of ways because you got next year you're looking at Spencer, Luke, and then a whole bunch of freshmen, and just really trying to constantly improve the depth at every position.
You mentioned Colton a couple of times. How much progress has he made from the quarterback who first stepped on campus months ago?
Yeah, a lot. He's still in all the quarterback meetings with Coach Satt and all the quarterbacks. So mentally, he's made a lot of progress. I mean, being able to just communicate things and then the throws he's made, he's gotten better. On Sunday nights before I talk to you guys in that teleconference during the season, we keep the young guys out there, and he's like a madman during that because we only have 10 minutes of work. So as soon as practice ends, he's screaming and yelling at receivers to get out there because he's trying to get as many reps and throws in 10 minutes as he can. So he's a competitor and he's a winner, and I'm excited about his future here at Carolina as well.
Coach Satterfield said during his press conference last week, in talking about when he was recruiting the transfer quarterback, that he said he called himself like the most hated offensive coordinator in the country. Where'd that come from? Did it surprise you when you heard that come from him?
I don't think he used the word hated. I think nobody thinks that I'm worth a dang or crap or something like that or whatnot. No, look, you guys, y'all aren't oblivious to stuff. People hear noise and things like that as well, and I took it as a great thing. It's two guys that have a chip on their shoulder. I don't care where you're the offensive coordinator. People don't think you're very good. Sean McVay's or Sean Payton and all these guys in the NFL, they're great offensive coaches, but one bad game, they need to give up play calling and hire an offensive coordinator. Or this year it was, they were on Lincoln Riley offensively. It's everybody thinks they can call plays, so every offensive coordinator in the country is certainly has a chip on their shoulder because you're only as good as your last game. So I didn't take that in any wrong way at all. I took that as Sat and all of us obviously aren't pleased with everything that we did offensively as a whole this year, and we all know that we have to be better in all phases, and I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm excited to be here, but I'm not happy about being 6-6, so we all have a chip on our shoulder to get better. Offense, defense, special teams, all of us.
Let Coach go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, James.